Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Lauren Ashley, and in this video we're going to go over what's been going on over the last few days. In the last video we talked about discernment. How can you discern what's right, what's wrong? And I've even done a warning video of the cost that you will get if you involve spirituality. There's going to be a spiritual warfare, especially if you are doing things for the greater, if you're doing things to help people, if you are aligning your life in such a divine way. There's going to be a spiritual warfare. So I've done warnings about that. I've even done warnings about what could happen when you start to use things like tarot cards. You begin to open your soul up more. That can expose yourself to dark entities, earthbounds, or demonic spirits. I've even given a warning about, what could possibly happen when you start communicating with the cosmos. You can accidentally bring their consciousness to this physical realm, and you don't want to do that. So what has happened over the last few days was that I started to seek another medium. This medium is located in Baltimore. And we spoke on the phone like she did my first reading, but I wasn't really satisfied because she was kind of touching on things, but this wasn't something that I really wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on my spiritual journey because it has made such a huge impact on me. And so, she spent like a whole hour talking to me about what I'm doing, the wrong things that I'm doing, and what to look out for. She really came in my head pretty strong, and I deserved it because I really was getting myself into things I shouldn't have. It was a huge mistake to use telepathy to communicate with people that I didn't know. Just because you see, their life on Instagram, just because they seem to be doing well, doesn't mean you just don't know them, because it's really easy to put on a face on social media. Like, I can be honest and say that there are moments where I would be extremely depressed, but I could post myself laying out on a beach, looking happy, but it doesn't mean that I'm happy. Like, I went to the Bahamas a couple of years ago, and I wasn't that happy. And you know what? I kind of regret it because I went to a beautiful island and I kissed the dolphins, but that didn't mean I was happy. So, like, just say, for example, someone were to look at my pictures and say, oh, she's like at the Bahamas, she's having a good time. Let me use telepathy to communicate with her to get some sort of advice on like what I can do to better myself as a spiritual person. That person could have ruined their entire life for life, because there's things that had happened in my life that was extremely dark, and there are things that have happened in my life that I'm still trying to forgive myself for. And so just imagine this person trying to communicate with me, taking all of my demons with them, and now they have to figure out a way to get rid of all of these demons. So that was like a case for me. I've made a huge mistake in communicating with, people that I didn't know, communicating with like the cosmos. I mean, I just wasn't sure how to communicate. A lot of times I would communicate with the cosmos without me even knowing it. So that was like another thing that I had to watch out for. Like, when I was sleeping, I was just sleeping, and then my vibration was so high, like I was high up there, that I had accrued this alien entity. And I think that this particular alien was from the galactic family, because even yesterday I was sleeping and I would get like tons of images of the galactic family that's way beyond, deep within the skirts of the universe. I would get, images of that. And sometimes I would kind of wake myself out of my sleep, and I would keep contacting Angel Haniel, because she is the one that is really good with the third eye, the intuition, the dreams. I had her monitor my dreams. I'm like, no, Haniel, monitor my dreams, But I've come to realize that I can't keep pushing what I'm seeing. Obviously, if she's monitoring my dreams, I'm supposed to be seeing this for a reason, because at first I started dreaming about a lot of dark dreams. I would have really dark dreams, and this actually happened when I was in Brownsburg, and I'm actually going to touch on Brownsburg in a little bit. It just seems like every time I travel and go to another place, I experience a whole bunch of spiritual stuff, which is a very, very interesting. But I started having these dark dreams of people, abusing drugs. I saw a lot of violence, and then that's when I contacted the angel Heniel, to monitor my dreams. And so she's been monitoring my dreams. I haven't noticed anything dark, but I've been noticing things more spiritual, and I've been seeing a lot of cosmic type of things. I started to see the universe. I started to see the space, the galactic family. We'll have to do a whole video about the galactic family. Like, I don't know too much about them. I just know that they're high spiritual entities who look like us, but is vibrating on a very high level. They're very shiny, very enchanted looking, and they do help people. But I think the biggest mistake that I made was not knowing how to, I don't know, shut down the communication. And so like I ended up bringing like this consciousness with me. So I had to do a clearing. But what has ended up happening to me over the last few days was that after I've spoken with a medium and got my clearing, got my cleaning, I've even contacted Angel Heniel to close my third eye while I'm sleeping. And which she did. She actually did it while I was like taking a bath, and I thanked her for it. I was going to go to sleep. I had all this salt around my bed to keep like the evil spirits away, because I would get these spiritual attacks by these dark entities, and it's actually traumatized me. My mom had vacuumed up the salt. I'm like, Mom, I put the salt there for a reason. And she was like, well, you can come sleep in here with me. And so I started like putting little crystals around the bed to try to like provide protection for us. And my mom, she did throw away the TV, which was great, because I would fall asleep and the dark entity would use my television as a medium, and it has been using the television for God knows how long. Like, it probably started off as one dark spirit, and then it started like accruing all of these other dark entities. Actually, let me pull up a scripture, because it actually like aligns with the current situation that I'm facing. When I had that vision of Mary Magdalene, she told me to look to Jesus's teachings, because I was like really confused about everything. There was a lot of dark entities that were pretending to be angels, pretending to be Jesus Christ, pretending to be people that I know. It got to the point where I had trust issues with the spiritual realm. It got to the point where I'm just like, well, I don't know who to trust, because I'm getting spiritually attacked. Who do I look to? Who do I trust? So Mary Magdalene told me to look to Jesus' teachings. And she came to me very discreetly. Like, I noticed that the actual people that I'm talking to will come to me very discreetly. Like, she just came to me. I think I was like somewhere in Jerusalem in the dream, and then she came to me, like I was like by a mountain, and she came to me like on a side of a mountain, and then she told me to look to Jesus' teachings. And so I did, and this is all the information that I'm finding, and it has so far become very helpful, and it has helped me with my discernment. So like in Matthew 12:43-45, I'm going to really take my time with this, guys. This is going to be a really long video, so I don't expect you guys to stay here, because I'm going to touch on a lot. Like, I actually have books in front of me. I have like a lot of resources in front of me that I'm going to read from. And when I post the actual video on IGTV, it's going to look very different. Like, I'm going to post like a lot of slides like on top of the video, and I'm also going to show a lot of pictures that were taken in the midst of my spiritual journey from a few days up into the present. There's going to be a lot of texts involved, so the video will look extremely different. But yeah, this is going to be a long video. I'm not really used to using this Bible, because it's a parallel Bible from English to Spanish. Like, I don't have my study Bible with me, so I have to use this one. Bear with me, guys. I'm looking for it. So it says, an unclean spirit returns. This is Matthew 12:43-45. It says, and this is Jesus talking. So it says, when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. Then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he does, he finds it empty, swept, and put in order. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and then enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with this wicked generation. And so what I've taken from this scripture is that as I look at my life over time, I've noticed that the spirit was getting darker and larger. I've noticed that, like, it started off with me like watching TV. Now, this has happened to me when I was a child, when these spirits would use the television to come at me. And I remember like staring at the blank screen. I couldn't sleep, and then some flash of light came through, and then some spirit drug me by the leg and was pulling me, and I was screaming for help. It's the most scariest thing of my life. I think that was the very first thing that I've ever witnessed in spirituality, noticing the darkness of spirituality. And so what has happened so far was that me living here with this TV, this is not the same exact TV. This was a television that was given to us from my uncle, and I don't know where he's gotten TV from. I don't know if this TV was used. I have no idea. But, it started off with like a dark spirit. Now, at first I was able to counteract this dark spirit. This was during a time of me going to the Sadhguru meditations. If you don't know who he is, and I'll actually put a picture of what he looks like. He is a yogi, and I spent like $300 to go to this meditation, and this meditation has unlocked a lot of my spiritual gifts. It has like gotten me closer to my inner child, and it has allowed me to have vivid dreams. That was the start of it all. And so I was able to feel a lot more spirits. It got to the point where I would get psychic attacks. Like I remember watching like some sort of Spanish video. Like it's this girl that I follow on YouTube. Her name is Ina Mo, and she travels the entire world, and she inspires a lot of people, and she helps me with my Spanish. And so what ended up happening was this dark spirit pretended to be a friend. Well, she's no longer my friend, but he pretended to be a friend that I know. And I started to pick up on her mannerisms. Like I started to, get a lot of her intellect. Like she is a book reader. She reads boxes upon boxes of books. Like it ain't even funny. Like this girl is really smart. And she was teaching me Spanish. But then, I was starting to get uncomfortable because we didn't have a really good past. Like we would argue all the time. We would get into all of these debates. And so then I'm just like, no, I'm uncomfortable. Get away from me. I don't want you around me. And so then that's when this dark spirit just got really angry. And then it like engulfed my entire body, and it was really dark. And I'm just like, what do I do? And so I got up, and it was just overtaking me that I almost fainted because of this dark energy. So then it was that experience. Like this is me being awake, experiencing this. There are times where I would go to sleep and then I would experience it, and then I would just counteract it by just breathing and being conscious of the breath, because the breath is soul, the breath is life force, the breath fuels your life force, the breath is God. So like I just kept breathing over and over and over again, and it just eventually went away. Then I noticed it just got stronger. So just after reading that scripture, when Jesus was talking about how go and collect all of these darker spirits, it just gets darker and darker and even more powerful, and it just makes you worse. It comes to you with all of this energy, all this dense dark energy, and it just eats at your soul. And that's exactly what happened to me, where my soul was being drained, and I was screaming, and I felt like I was in the dark, and I felt like no one could help me because I was on the other side just screaming for help. My mom couldn't hear me, nobody could hear me. It was just me and this dark thing, and that was the most traumatic experience in my entire life. Like, I don't want anyone to ever go through this. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't even want... Like, if I were to, like, get into, like, an argument or fight with someone, I don't even want to wish that upon someone because it's so dark. Like, nobody on this earth deserves this. And I'm actually getting really emotional talking about this because there's a lot of evil, dark things out there. And I want to make sure, just warn you guys that this is the cost when you are seeking Jesus Christ, when you are seeking, your spiritual journey. Like, this is what you're going to be facing. So it's very important to stay firm in your faith and just be really protected. So over time it progressed, and it got larger and it got denser. And the more I began to use the tarot cards, the more I began to just open myself up more. And then I was smoking weed at the time. I was doing a lot of wrong things, you guys. And I'm not trying to come at weed in a bad way, but it's like if you're using weed in the wrong ways, like I was using weed to meditate, and it got to the point where I would get so high to the point where I would contact the cosmos. I would be all up in the universe. Like, I was no longer in this physical realm. I was way beyond, out there in the universe, in the cosmos, where the galactic family rests, where the aliens rest. Like, I was way deep in there because I was smoking. And I shouldn't have been smoking. I shouldn't have been smoking and doing meditation, smoking and doing tarot cards, because it like accrued all of this darkness. So I quit. I quit smoking because of what it's done to me. So then, even after the cleansing, after I spoken with the medium, so now we're gonna like go through the last couple of days, it still came back. You know, I had the dream. The dreams were faded. The dreams were not as vivid because I did ask Angel to close my third eye, and she did exactly what I asked her. But in the midst of her closing my third eye, I also asked her to still give me intuition. I still wanted to be able to be safe and discern what's going on. I didn't want to go into the dream and not go with the flow of the dream, not knowing what's going on, not remembering what's going on. I wanted to, you know, I wanted my intuition. And so she granted that to me. And sometimes I feel like, you know, it's okay to go with the flow of the dream, but it's still good to be aware. Like, I noticed that I was like in the dream and I was like talking to somebody. I don't remember the details of the dream because the third eye was closed. But, you know, I was just going with the flow. It's just free will, going with the flow of things, not really having like a conscious. And then it just came back. It came back. And then that's when my higher self kicked in. Usually when these dark things come around, my higher self kicks in. And then that's when my consciousness turns on. So then it came back. It was strolling through the dream with its evil, dark energy. And then I was looking at it and I was like in complete defense mode. And it didn't even go towards me. It went towards like the side of my mom's bed. And I got really scared. I was really scared. And I was like begging no. And then I was like crying for Archangel Michael to help us. Please help us. And I think it was more angrier than before because the TV was thrown out. And it was using that TV as a home. And now that it doesn't have a TV, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just going to just start messing with people. So after that, I woke up, my mom went to work, I was praying and stuff, and then I went outside the balcony to just breathe. I was under a lot of stress. I didn't get any sleep. I'm still not getting, I'm getting more sleep than I ever have, but I still could get more. Like, it's getting there. It's starting to become normal again. But as soon as I went out there on the balcony, there was a bird that flew to me. I kid you not. This bird looked dead at my eyes and was chirping loud. It was screaming at me, you guys. And I actually have like this book here called Angels. We're gonna like read about the birds. It was chirping at me, it was screaming at me, and I was just like, I just felt like this bird was telling me something, but I couldn't understand it because I don't speak bird language. Like, I don't. But I felt like this bird was very alarming, it was very serious, and it wanted to tell me something. And I did find out from the bookstore that you can get like a book about the animal kingdom where you can learn how to communicate spiritually with the animals. Haven't gotten there yet, but let's look at the book with the birds. So it says, in world mythology, birds are often symbols of the spirit. In particular, they are portrayed as messengers to the gods and as bearers of the souls of the dead to the underworld. From these association with birds, angels ultimately derived from their wings. The connection of birds with angels springs from two distinct experiences of the sacred. And then it goes like deep into like the birds. It says, first, in all world religions, but particularly in Western religions, there is a tendency to view the sacred as especially associated with celestial phenomena. Our Father who art in heaven. Because the heavens seem to be the peculiar residence of divinity, it is a natural step to regard birds as closer to the sacred, even as potential emissaries of the god. By the same token, it is natural to assume that celestial beings have wings, either literally or symbolically. Second, to the ancients, the air itself was a spiritual substance, a medium that could be felt but not seen. In many cultures, even the word for soul is the same as the word for breath. One's breath is the invisible yet tangible part of the person that seems to leave the body and escape into the atmosphere upon death. To members of many traditional societies, birds were marvelous creatures who could shake themselves loose from the earth and float aloft in the spiritual medium of the air. It is but a short step from seeing birds as travelers of the spirit realm, to attributing wings to the spirit beings. So that is the passage of the birds. And they even, okay, yeah, that's pretty much the whole topic of the birds. I feel like this book could explain more, really go deep in depth. I'll find more books on these topics, but this is like a whole like dictionary of angels from A to Z. So that was really helpful. So like, I have read a bird before. I didn't like understand like the language of the bird, but I felt the bird's spirit. And the bird's spirit is it's just very free, just kind of soars through the sky without any worries. Like I felt that. And it was just very briefly, very subtle. And so I felt like this bird was consciously trying to tell me something. So right after that, I packed my bags and I left. I left. I couldn't deal with being in the house anymore, and I felt like I needed rest. It got to the point where I didn't feel safe sleeping. Like I felt like my dreams were being hacked. Like I did do videos on dreams being hacked if you guys want to watch those videos. It was just really bad. So I went to Brownsburg, which is like about a 35-minute drive from here, and decided to just stay there for rest. And it's like I thought I could escape my problems, but the problems were still there. Like, I just had to deal with it. I had to deal with what was going on in my life. So I did it's not the greatest, you guys. I did like a little flooring plan for the house. This is just like the flooring plan for the room. You got door number 1, door number 2. This is the flooring. I just described this room. I assume that the other side is the exact same way, but the complete opposite. So it's just like when you walk in, the computer area is here. There's like a little desk space where you can use your computer. You look over, there's like a little desk with a candle, little remotes, where you can control the fan. You can use the remote to control the light. You can even use there was another remote that, lead to the garage. There's my bed. There was like a light on the side of the bed. It was like this really cool light where you can just walk over, press the button, and then it just bings on. Then on the other side is just bare wall. And then here's the window. And there's like little artworks on the walls. I did take pictures of the room because I showed the pictures of the room to the medium because I needed some advice at the time. So yeah, that's like the little flooring of the room, and I had like different cycles of the dream throughout the entire day. Like I was off and on sleeping. And it was actually really interesting because when I went there was a lot more noise in the house. And usually it's very quiet. So I'm just like, why is there so much noise? How can I get all of this sleep that I need if there's noise? Because the noise would kind of counteract my dreams. Like it would really affect me in a profound way because I would be dreaming, then suddenly it just felt like someone out of nowhere shot me in the head. But it wasn't someone shooting me in the head in the dream. It was because someone slammed the door extremely loud. So I'm like, what is going on? I'm not getting any sleep, and this is traumatizing me even more because I'm already going through this dark spiritual journey. And so to get this shockness, just what is going on? It was a really bad experience. I complained to them about the experience, but so yeah, I got the slamming of the door. Then I started to get all these dark dreams of people abusing drugs and people being very violent with one another. Like I was in a classroom and there was this white guy and this black guy arguing. Like this guy wanted to throw the whole desk at a person. And I kept telling them to stop. Like I'm screaming, stop fighting. And I'm just like, why am I having all these dark dreams? Like what? And so then I talked to my mom on the phone and I said, Mom, I really need some advice. I'm like, I'm having all these dark dreams and I don't know what to do. Can you please help me out? And she said, you have to be really mindful of how you feel throughout the day because you're going to take exactly how you feel with you to your dreams. And I was just like, you know what? That makes so much sense. And I've actually did some videos about that. It depends on how you feel. It was when I was talking about vivid dreams. I said, in order for you to have vivid dreams, you have to be present. So I said, you have to be really paying attention in this physical realm. You have to be looking at everything. Because if you go to sleep scattered, your dream is going to be scattered. If you go to sleep organized, your dream is going to be organized. So in a sense, when she was talking about if you go to sleep negative, your dreams will be negative. So that made total sense. And so whatever sounds that the people were doing in the background didn't complement my dreams at all. It actually just made my dreams worse, and it made me feel even more traumatized. So then I prayed more. I even contacted Angel Heniel. I said, Heniel, please monitor my dreams. Monitor my dreams, please. And then there's like another scripture that I want to read really quick. It's in Matthew 21:18 through 22. Like I said, you guys, I don't expect you guys to stay. Like I said, this is a very long video. You can like leave, do your thing, come back whenever you want. This video is going to go to IGTV, completely edited. So it's Matthew 21:18 to 22. Let me see here. It says the fig tree withered. This is my favorite scripture because I felt like it was so funny. Only reason why I thought it was funny because Jesus was like really hungry and he found a fig tree. But then when he found leaves, he just made the tree wither. And I just felt like this guy was just like, he was just angry, hangry. So then it says, now in the morning, as he returned to the city, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing on it but leaves, and said to it, let no fruit grow on you ever again. Immediately, the fig tree withered away. Only reason why I thought it was funny, I could just imagine just being so hungry, and then you thinking, oh, I'm gonna get me some figs, and then you like find that there's no figs on the tree, just leaves. I would wither that tree too. So then it says the lesson of the withered fig tree. And it says, and when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how did the fig tree wither away so soon? So Jesus answered and said to them, assuredly, I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what was done to the fig tree, but also if you say to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, it will be done. And whatever things you ask in prayer, believing, you will receive. And I read the scripture because it is so true, you guys. Very, very true. Like even before I went to Brownsburg, I did a cleanse. I repeated these mantras. I actually did a video the other day talking about saying these affirmations or these mantras, because you begin to embody that. You begin to condition your mind. You begin to believe those messages, and then you can wipe out a lot of the spirits that had been bothering you. I noticed that when I left my home before I went to Brownsburg, I fell asleep in my car for a couple of hours because check-in wasn't until 12 p.m. And so it was like around 9:30 in the morning. And I did a clearing. I put myself through all of this white light. So I did create like a little bubble for myself. And I started to dream. And then I started to see strangers in my dream. Said, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. And then I made everybody go to the light. It's just like whenever I see like a dark entity come my way, I say, go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. Like I like create like this portal of light. And so then what happens is these dark entities, they disappear. They go into the light for their transmutation. And the spiritual realms, they deal with it however they're going to deal with them. Like I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I'm just like, I don't know who you are. Go, 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 go. And then I had like this one guy that came at me. And then he didn't even reach me. Like he just faded into light, went into the light. All of them disappeared one by one. And so then I noticed some change relating to the scripture. Like when you command these things to happen, it will happen. Like I had like a little traumatic sexual experience in the past. And then I saw the guy in my dream and it was just very uncomfortable. And he started to touch me and I said, stop. And then he did it again. And then I said, stop. And then he stopped. And I think he was even in fear because of my words, my commands, because it got to the point where I am starting to align myself with the spiritual realm and I'm starting to get power of authority. And so then, I'm kind of like all over the place with my timeline, kind of jumping from Brownsburg to where I was. I kind of forgot to mention the car scene. But when I went to Brownsburg, having those dark dreams, then praying to the angels to get lighter dreams. I started to get lighter dreams, but more spiritual dreams. So what ended up happening was at nighttime, I called archangels. There's like probably 9 archangels. I called Metatron, which is a transformation of Enoch. Now, I've been talking about Enoch a lot. Like, I really do favor Enoch because he was a human just like us, and he put all of his faith through God. His faith was so strong that God saw favor of him and took him into heaven, and Enoch didn't even get to experience death. And so then Enoch transformed into an angel called Metatron, and he is chief archangel along with all the rest of them. You have Gabriel, you have Raphael, you have Michael or Mikael. I call on Mikael a lot because he is the angel of protection. But that night I called Gabriel, Michael, Metatron, and I think I called Uriel. And I'm trying to think what happened. There's a lot. My memory is shot from the experience. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't remember, but I did circle my entire bed with crystals. I didn't have salt to sustain a parameter of the bed. So I put all these crystals around the bed and I laid down, and it took me a while to go to sleep. Not even gonna lie. Like, I just felt too traumatized. Like, after that spiritual attack a couple of weeks ago, I'm just like, I just can't sleep. I just can't sleep. And then I would like, I did like little notes or whatever, and I played like this sound. It was like 639 hertz. And it got to the point where I couldn't even trust the angels actually being there. The angels were there, and I had trust issues because of what happened to me. But I played like a song. It was a song that will heal your heart. It was very beautiful music. This is music that raises the vibration. Oh, the camera's kind of crooked. This whole time I was talking and this camera was crooked. So this music raises vibration. So when you're vibrating on a high level, there's no way that these dark entities can get to you because they don't resonate on a high vibration. They resonate all the way down here. So it's really hard for these dark entities to get to you when you're all the way up here. And the angels, God, Jesus Christ, noticed that I've been working really hard to reach out to them. They've seen it. And so what ended up happening was they did come. I said in my subconscious, I said, I call upon Archangel Gabrielle, and she came, and I felt her presence. And she automatically, before me even asking, she automatically healed my heart because I had so much anxiety and blockages and locks in my heart after what has happened to me. And then I woke up. I'm like, oh, what happened? And I started to like get really traumatized, and I started to think that the devil was pretending to be the angels, and I was starting to have trust issues. And then this is when I wrote this. I said, Dear God, I need discernment. I pray for discernment through Jesus Christ. I need to know for a fact that I am not being tricked. It is easy to get tricked in my sleep, and I could be saying anything that I may not mean to say. So please protect me, or protect with me. But I'm sorry, you guys, I was really sleepy. Just take into account that I was very sleepy writing this. Protect me. Give me inner and outer knowing that I truly have archangels around me. Give me something to help me know so that I can sleep. Clear up any negative trauma that I have carried with me. Heal my heart through Jesus Christ. I must know somehow that there is nothing but 100% pure white light in this room. If not, please cast the fakes away into the light or back where they came from. And then I said, Jesus Christ, I cast my anxieties, my fear, and burdens to you. Protect me and give me rest. And so I fell asleep. And then I was in communication with another angel entity. He didn't have wings. He didn't expose himself as an angel. He just looked like he needed help. And he was talking to me, and I was talking to him. And he was talking to me about twin flame. He was talking to me about fire. And then I woke up again. And I was just like really confused. I'm like, wait, I feel like someone was trying to tell me something. He was talking about fire. Like, what does he mean when he says fire? Fire? What? And I looked at the crystals that were around my bed. I saw the angel aura crystal. Now, this is the exact crystal that had astral projected me into the heavens. So I trusted that crystal. That was the very crystal, along with the amethyst crystal, that has led me to see the light. So I grabbed it and I used it for communication. And I kid you not, it's like I was getting all of these subtle images that had happened a few moments ago. It was helping me remember what we were talking about. And so I can't really remember all of the conversation that we had, but for some reason, I trusted what was being said to me. And I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm sorry, like, this was like a really good experience that I experienced. Okay. Get it together, Lauren. Get it together. Like, there was, whatever was said, I can't really remember exactly what was said, but I gave it permission to answer me. And it did. It gave me all of this energy. And then I remember being in my soul, and I was still a little paranoid. I was still a little traumatized because I felt something. But I wasn't harmed. I was not harmed. I felt like very warm. I felt protected. And it gave me this energy of a fire. It was like, it wasn't a harming fire. It was like this burning, sensational fire that fueled me. It gave me an adrenaline, and it made me stronger. Like I felt like my solar plexus get stronger, and my muscles got stronger, and I was like clutching onto this angel aura crystal longer. And I was like really resonating with this energy, and it didn't harm me at all. And all of a sudden, I hear, going back to this flooring plan, I hear a voice in this other room. I heard a woman. She said, "Get in here, get in here." And she started screaming, and she was in so much fear, and I got startled. I'm like, what's going on? And she was screaming. It was as if she woke up from something, and like I thought the dark entity was in the house, and I started to I tried to wake up, but then I realized that my soul was waking up from my body. I was sleeping just like this, you guys, just like this, and I saw myself sleeping, and then I couldn't wake up, and I kept going back and then sitting up, and I kept going back and sitting up, and I realized something. I realized that the archangel was protecting me, didn't want me to wake up in the time that I was supposed to, because this dark entity was right next door. Now, I actually, played like a little investigator. I'm just like, why was this dark entity here? Why wasn't it just in the room? Because if it was in the room, the archangels would have really corrected it. Obviously this dark entity was in fear. You know what I'm saying? It would have been in here if there were no archangels in the room. So it was right next door, and it was trying to trick me. It was in fear, still trying to trick me. So say, for example, if I was to utilize astral projection, if I were to go and use astral projection and go into the next room, I probably would have been attacked again. So then I just screamed in my mind, "Control," and then I woke up. And then I sat up, and then I heard a slamming of a door, and I don't know what, honestly, you guys, I really don't know what happened. I actually made a report to the couple. I texted them on Airbnb, and I'm just like, is everything okay? Because I heard this loud scream as if someone was in trouble, and it really startled me, and all day I have not been comfortable sleeping. I'm really upset about this. What is going on? And they texted me back, and they was just like, we're so sorry that you're experiencing this. We'll actually give you a partial payment for your stay. I think that this was our 15-month-old child that had been slamming the doors, and we're really sorry. And I said, was there a woman in the house? Is there a couple next door? Who is next door? And she said, well, there's a guy. There's no woman there. It's just a guy who stays there alone. So that has given me confirmation that this was some sort of demonic spirit that was in the house like trying to communicate with me, trying to give me a psychic attack to like distract me from what I've just experienced with the archangel. And so this is really crazy. And then I did the research. I researched the archangel of fire. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I actually have it in the book too. Where is it at? Archangel of fire. Oh my God, bear with me, you guys. Bear with me. I put this link in my favorites. You see. Can't find it. Hold on. I could have sworn I put this in my favorites. Archangel of fire. So it could have been one of two angels, or it could have been both. It could have been either Uriel that I was talking to, or it could have been Michael. And I think I was talking to probably Michael, that has engulfed my body with its spirit of fire. And it has given me, God, I can't find it. Dang. And it was like so informative too. Is this it? Okay, here it is. So it says God has given several archangels supervisory duties over the four natural elements on earth. Believers say, and the angel who oversees fire is Archangel Michael. Here's a look at why Michael is the angel of fire, and how Michael's primary focus on truth and courage ties into working with fire, awakening to truth. Fire enlightens the areas in which it burns. In the light of fire, people are more aware of what's around them than they would be in darkness. Michael enlightens people's souls by awakening them to spiritual truth, giving them clarity on what is real about God, themselves, and others. After Michael guides people who are searching for truth and pray for spiritual discernment, they will discover truth revealed just as fire reveals what had previously been hidden in darkness. When we call upon the spirit of Michael, writes Mirabai Starr in her book Saint Michael, the Archangel, Devotion, Prayers, and Living Wisdom. So she's like quoting this from a book. We are invoking the courage and strength to see the truth and live it, to hear the truth and share it, to know the truth and let it change us. So this was like really good. So this is something that I experienced because I asked for it. I begged for it because it got to the point where I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know who to believe in. And so this is the discernment that I got from Archangel Michael, the angel of fire, in the book that I have. Bear with me. I wish I had bookmarks, you know? Angel of death, angel of fire. Okay. I'm just going to read like a small passage. Now this is Uriel. And I believe I did call Uriel as well into the room. They could have both been working together, to be honest. It says Uriel, whose name means fire of God, is an angel of non-canonical lore who was known as the regent of the sun and flame of God. In Catholic tradition, Uriel is thought to be the angel who stood at the gate of the lost Eden with a fiery sword. So it could have been him as well. Who knows? All I know is that I had been traumatized. I had been trying to communicate with the angels, and I finally got my communication with the angels, and they were in the room with me that night. And because of that, I was able to get healing. I was able to sleep. And I remember even dreaming about being congratulated for getting some sleep. They're like, yeah, you got sleep, Lauren. Be happy for yourself. You got sleep. I did. And so then, after that, it's still a spiritual warfare. Like, this is still something that I have to continue to fight for. Like, I have to be praying multiple times a day, still learning about Jesus' teachings. It's still a learning process. It's gotten to the point where I am just not a normal human being anymore. Like, I would go out and I would feel like a complete outcast because, I've experienced a lot and they probably haven't, because they're living their lives like so normally without any type of worry. But this is definitely a spiritual battle for me, and this is a cost that I am paying when I am like, seeking with so much determination and tenacity. Like, this is the cost that I'm gonna have to pay, unfortunately, and this is going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of my life. But I can say that I'm willing to do what it takes so that I can get closer to the spiritual realm, because this is something that I asked for. This is something that I wanted, because I was so tired of just living through the flow of life, like, and just being unhappy, like, because I enjoy doing things. I enjoy doing videos. I enjoy doing films. Like, I enjoy being creative, but none of it matters if it doesn't have a meaning to it. Like, I have to put some sort of faith to supreme justice, because I'm alive. Like, I'm alive and breathing. There has to be some sort of meaning to life, and I'm willing to go through the days of my life finding out what it all means. Like, it is a learning process. I've made so many mistakes. I've, done things that I've regret doing and wish I hadn't done. But, the Archangel Michael has taught me to just deal with it. Deal with the simple fact that my life has changed, is changing, and will forever change. And I just have to deal with it. There's just no way of going back. Like, why would I go back? Like, there's no way that I can just, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. It's over. I'm stopping this. I can't. Why? Just to let the enemy win? No. Like, I'm not going to. Like, I'm not about to let, like, this entity punk me for so long and then I just give up. Like, that's just letting them win. No. I'm not going to. I'm going to fight. It was a very interesting experience for me. I haven't noticed the dark entity, the large blob of energy. I haven't noticed it lately, and I'm sure that it will come back. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure if they've transmuted it into the light. I just know that it's been gone, so that's a good thing. Just have to make sure to, like, keep praying, keep fasting, and keep eating healthy. And that's another thing that I notice, is that my power has gotten stronger simply because of fasting and simply because of being vegan. Like, so serious. You begin to remember more of your dreams. You begin to get more clear messages of your dreams. I have like 1 minute and 55 seconds. Okay, so you begin to remember more of your dreams if you continue to eat healthy. And I notice that I am starting to get images of the galactic family. I'm starting to get images of the universe, the space, the stars. And I keep pushing it away because I was afraid that I may just suddenly bring the consciousness back to the third dimensional level. I need to stop thinking that way. I have to accept that what is being shown to me is probably something that's trying to tell me something. Maybe they want to share some messages with me. They probably see that I can communicate with them. So why not allow them to share messages? It's like when you go to sleep, you're going to expand your soul anyway. So why fight it? You're not getting any rest when you're fighting. You're not getting any rest when you're waking up constantly throughout the night. Just sleep and just allow whatever it is to just be. And just always, always, always set the intention to protect yourself. So yeah, this was pretty long, but I hope that my experience was very helpful. And I'll come back on here and do more videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day. Bye.